God of War Ragnarok is right around the corner, one of the undoubtedly most anticipated games of 2022, and we just got a behind-the-scenes look at some of the key concepts and creativity within the game. Let's check it out. I am so excited for this.
We're coming off of God of War 2018. How do you top that? How do you deliver something that players will love maybe just as much as God of War 2018?
That was a dope game.
Pressure was tremendous.
Yeah, there's some high expectations for this next one. Also, we will be replaying this, and I'll post the parts up, so
and I am the
drop a
senior
sub if you
producer for
haven't.
narrative.
My name is Richard Gobert. I'm the story lead for God of War Ragnarok.
I'm Jody Kupsko, and I'm the supervising dialogue designer.
It's my job to shape the story along with our writing team, our narrative director, and game director.
As a producer, it's my job to help build a team to create that content, to own the schedule in realizing that content.
I oversee the dialogue production throughout the entire titles. Every line of dialogue that you hear, every human vocalization and effort and grunt, our team touches.
That's awesome. It's got to be so cool to work on a game like this.
Like you?
No. We are not men. We are more than that. The responsibility is far greater.
In the story of God of War 2018, we find Kratos seemingly having turned over a new leaf in the Norse lands. He lives a quiet life, hidden in the woods with his wife Faye and their son Atreus. And the story starts with them mourning her death. And we learn that she made a final request before she passed away. She wanted them to spread her ashes from the highest peak in all the 9 realms. He's scared of being a bad father, a bad influence, and as a result, it's made him an absent father. His greatest fear is that he's passed that evil that's inside of him onto his son.
You are too quick to temper. You are rash, insubordinate, and out of control. This will not stand.
Damn.
You will honor your mother and abandon this path you have chosen. It is not too late.
They befriend Freya, who is an exiled Vanir goddess who used to be married to Odin. They meet Mimir, the self-proclaimed smartest man alive.
Mimir's the GOAT.
Serves as their guide and their confidant.
That man got us
And
through
they meet the Holdra brothers,
a lot of
Locke
tough
and
situations.
Sindri, who are world-class weaponsmiths who end up their main source of upgrades and equipment. Now, among the enemies they make are the Aesir gods, whose leader is none other than Odin, someone we never meet in God of War 2018, but who casts a very long and dark shadow over the 9 realms.
There are consequences to killing a god!
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
Better watch your
After
tone,
many
boy.
adventures, Kratos and Atreus end up fulfilling Mom's wishes, and over the course of that journey, they find out more about each other and about themselves, and finally find a common ground between them. They become the close family unit that Faye hoped that they would become.
It was all a part of the plan. Such a beautiful journey that game
In
was.
God of War Ragnarok, we fast forward a few years, and little Atreus is now a teen, and they're back to hiding out in their home in the woods in Midgard. During the course of the previous game's events, they were forced to kill Odin's grandchildren, Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor. Thor does a lot of the lion's share of Odin's dirty work, and as a consequence, he's a very violent, unstable personality. At the end of the last game, they were also forced to kill Balder, the son
They were
of
out.
Odin
They were out
and
there
Frey.
dropping bodies in
And
the
that
last
has its
game.
own set of consequences. He was a very powerful chess piece for Odin, one that Odin is incredibly bitter about losing. Freya has vowed vengeance against them for the killing of her son.
Who tried to kill
Kratos and
her?
Atreus didn't want to kill him. They were friends with Freya. But Balder tried to kill her in front of them, and Kratos had no other option in the moment but to kill him to save Freya's life, even though it meant losing Freya's friendship.
Yeah, that was a tough choice.
I will parade your cold body from every corner of every realm and feed your soul to the vilest filth in hell that is my promise!
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything!
It's like, what was he expected to do? Let him kill her and then just kill him anyway, you know?
His death is also foretold to bring about Fimbulwinter, which is a brutal 3-year winter that is then followed by Ragnarok. It's an apocalyptic war between all the Norse gods, the giants, the dwarves, and the elves, and an army of the dead. They're all destined to fight in a battle that basically ends the world.
That's
Kratos
crazy.
is understandably worried about his son and what it means for him.
You get to go on this journey with how Atreus grows into a young adult and how Kratos grows into his next era in his life, and really see kind of the parent that he's striving to be, but the person he's striving to be. I find that tale so incredibly relatable.
I think
We
that's
had
where
started
God of War really
shooting,
shines. It is,
plenty
in
of
many
content
ways, a
before the
relatable
pandemic
story.
hit. In fact, the week before we all went work from home, we were doing a shoot. I remember being on and off that set, running back to the office and having to talk to studio leadership about what was going down and how this was going to impact us moving forward. And those were trying times.
For us, it was a very unique challenge because we had to bring in actors and we had to record them. And so we had to look at different ways of adapting our typical motion capture process and dialogue recording process so we can continue production and continue at the quality that we wanted for our players and our fans.
We had some actors stand in for other characters, actors who were already, who were like core to one of the scenes, might just be able to play a background character in another scene to be able to avoid a situation where too many people were on set on any given day. We avoided
that's gotta be tough.
compromising the story that we were trying to tell as a result of the pandemic and these limitations that we had to deal with. There were no cinematics that we changed. We still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative with how we shot the content.
Our actor for Atreus, Sonny, is a teenage boy, and his voice changed dramatically throughout the several years on this title.
I don't want to fight anyone. The NBA is BACK. Brand new year, same old hope. It's our year.
Nah, this is our year.
Time for another run. No sleep till repeat.
Y'all need to let the ball do the talking. I just want answers.
We had to go in dramatically throughout the several years on this title.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
We had to go in and even out that performance so it sounds like it took place over a short period of time. That was a unique challenge on this
Oh
one.
man, you can't fight puberty.
The
That's
prophecy
for sure.
say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
Whether the Norse saga was going to be a trilogy or just 2 games was something we debated a lot. There were obviously pros and cons for either approach. So we waited for Cory Barlog to weigh in, and he did, and he said, let's do it in 2.
The consequence to that is, how do you wrap up the story in one game? And
Yeah,
do
that-
Ragnarok
yeah.
justice. How do we lead up to that and then have a big moment at the end of the game and wrap up all those loose threads? This game is bigger than what we initially envisioned. There's a lot of important story moments that we needed to cover. There are more characters that we follow the threads of. And ultimately, it ends up feeling big and epic because there is a lot there for people to enjoy.
I am very excited for folks to see this final chapter. A lot happens. We put our characters through the ringer.
So this
But
is
we
the
also
final
bring the
chapter.
closure.
Wow.
We provide answers to a lot of the questions the first game posed.
Just all of the new combat that we're doing and the new interactions. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this title that I think people are going to have fun with.
We all have our own personal Ragnaroks to deal with. And this story is about how you process that, how you own it, and how you make it a part of yourself and grow from it.
I mean, we set some stuff up at the end of last game. There's gonna be some consequences this game. We're gonna see how things play out between Freya and Kratos. We're gonna see how the evolution of the family relationship continues. You got Brock and Sindri, the dwarves,
Wow.
who are kind of part of your makeshift family now. And there's going to be some other characters that we introduce that maybe going to disrupt the balance a little bit. I can't wait until players get their hands on the game, are able to experience how the story unfolds for themselves.
We have, I think, an incredibly well-rounded game. Very satisfying combat, beautiful and rich environments to explore, outstanding character art, a lush and moving soundtrack and soundscape. It's the work of hundreds of very dedicated artists, and they all have their own stories to tell.
That's beautiful, man. That's so, I can't wait for this game. I'm so excited. Something I genuinely love about getting closer to the release of a game that you're so excited about, whether it be God of War or Ratchet and Clank for me, I think 2 years ago, and then getting these behind the scenes looks at the development process and the creative process on how they went about making going and creating certain decisions within the game that we will inevitably experience for ourselves. I just think it's so cool. I've always been a big fan of game development. It was often for me a path that I wanted to go down. I've always been very interested in how these multiple layers come together, whether it be score and composition and sound design and character development, story, how they all come together to create an overall experience for us to enjoy. I just think that's such a beautiful thing. God of War Ragnarok, I mean, there's nothing else I can say about it other than I know it's gonna be an incredible game. I have high hopes for this sequel. I didn't know it was gonna be the last one. I thought there was, I just assumed there was gonna be 3 just because, force of habit, but it looks like this is really gonna wrap up the story for these characters. So not only am I very excited for this game, but I'm very excited to see, after they, the studio takes a break, what Santa Monica Studio is gonna do next. What story they're going to create next. I'm very excited. But yeah, this behind the scenes look was dope. It gives us a really cool in-depth look at kind of a recap of the story of God of War, but also what we can expect to find and many of the questions that will be answered in the sequel. That's something I'm really excited for too, because the God of War, the OG God of War in 2018 left a lot of questions for us. I'm very interested to see how the story all wraps up in one beautiful bow and inevitably has us in tears probably towards the end. But I'm curious to know, what do you guys think about this behind the scenes? Was there something that stuck out to you? Are you excited for God of War? And as I said before in the video, I am going to be replaying God of War, I think sometime very soon. I'm going to be replaying it probably after all the Halloween stuff, and kind of just doing a run through of the game one last time before we jump into God of War Ragnarok, I believe on the 11th of November, something like that, the 9th, something like that. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, subscribe to the channel, all that good YouTube stuff. I'm very excited for this, and I cannot wait to share in this experience with you. So be on the lookout for more videos to come. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. My name is That Guy Rye, and I appreciate you for watching.